very much, Brenton. That was a really great welcome to country, and really very generous of you to share your own experience and your own insights as a Gumbaynggirr man. So thank you very much. I'm not going to say most of what I was going to say because we ended up showing the film, and so you know it all, so now we can all go home, right? I'm Kerry, as most of you will have seen my backyard. Welcome. It's really fantastic that you've come here to talk about housing, to love the problem and then love the solutions. That's what we're on about today. We're going to make up a little bit of time now, so I'm not going to say very much except that I do want to welcome some particular people. We have our local member, Pat Conahan, member for Cowper here. Thank you very much for coming, Pat. And Michael Kemp has given his apologies. We have our current Mayor, Steve Allen, and our previous Mayor, Dominic King, and a number of councillors and candidates for council. So welcome all. There are people who've travelled from the Northern Rivers and from Sydney. There's members of the Australian Community Land Trust Network, which is a new peak body, have come up from other places to join us today. People, I think I said Northern Rivers. So there's a bunch of people here, but really I now want to speak to the people who live here because we're the ones that have the capacity to try and keep working on what is now a big problem. We didn't call it a housing crisis when that film was made. We were very careful with our language and we talked about housing stress, but we are now in the middle of a crisis and an emergency. I'm not going to keep talking because we'll make up a little bit of time, but I do want to just spend a second celebrating some of the achievements since that film was made and what's in place, which is the Royal Freemasons Benevolent Institution initiative in partnership with Bellingen Shire Council, the federal government, the state government and the Housing Matters Action Group, is now built. 23 women over 55 who've been living in the most diabolical situations now have a life-changing experience of long-term, permanent, secure, affordable rental homes. And this project... I really think that this project is a really great example of what people from right across the community, right across the political spectrum, with different hats on can do when we work together. It was on the news. We want to show you the broadcast because it does a little walkthrough, and hope that you enjoy it as much as we do.
A walkthrough of Watson's Place, finally nearing completion.
We're hoping that our first residents, will be moving in October.
The site is comprised of 23 brand new one-bedroom units for women aged over 55.
I'm a very happy lady because 23 older single women who have been in the most desperate housing situations for years are going to be moving into this fantastic project.
Once the home of the Bellarana Aged Care Facility, the Royal Freemasons Benevolent Institution announced in late 2021 it would transform the site into affordable housing, helped with funding from both the state and federal governments.
We demolished and we rebuilt. During that process, obviously, COVID decided to come along and put a stop to a lot of the plans and delayed a lot of the plans.
Kerry Pearse from the Housing Matters Action Group has worked tirelessly for years to get the project off the ground.
Every time I walk down the street, someone comes up to me, I'm going to start crying now, and tells me a story about someone who they know who's going to be moving in here.
And rent will be capped for all the units.
Rents have gone through the roof. We're still leaving it at 70% of the 2020 market rent. That's not moving.
It's now hoped the project will be a blueprint for others in the region.
The housing crisis is so bad now that we have to get really creative about what we do, and this is a brilliant example of that.
Alison Paul, NBN News.
How good is that? Able to be here talking about some good news, and you saw the beginning of that project in that film, and here we are some years on, and here it is. There are a couple of people who I just really want to recognise for their effort in making that a reality. It was initially a fantastic project that the General Manager of Bellingen Shire Council, Liz Jeremy, kicked off with the previous Mayor Dominic King. The current council has continued to support this initiative and Mayor Steve Allen and the planning people and the council all continued to be behind it. Pat Conahan, our local member, worked hard to secure the funding, and so did Melinda Pavey. And of course the Royal Freemasons Benevolent Institution, who could have done something entirely different with the land. So just really want to pay respect to all those people for working together to make this happen. And so with that, housekeeping, sorry. I do have to talk a little bit about housekeeping. Mustering points out on the street. If we hear alarms, we go. Please turn your phones off. We are filming today, and so if you don't want to be filmed and you see Jay, the videographer, around, please let us know, or come up to me or Rose, and we'll take a photo of you and make sure that you're not in any footage. Is that an okay way to deal with this? Great, excellent. And I think that that's it for housekeeping. And so with that, I would really like to move into the first session. I know that many of us are here to hear Alan Kohler, and I would like to first introduce you to Jo Taylor. Jo Taylor is the CEO of the Siddle Family Foundation. Our work has been able to really consolidate and move ahead since that film was made, because the Siddle Family Foundation had decided to invest in and back the work of the Housing Matters Action Group. Jo might think that she's been invited to facilitate this panel because we're after her money, but what she doesn't know is that we're actually after her brain. And I have to say, it's a very different and a powerful way of working as partners when you can work jointly in the way that the Siddle Family Foundation and the Housing Matters Action Group are working to tackle common goals. So I'm sure there are many other things I could say to introduce Jo, but over to you.